So to put that in seemed reasonable, and it was, a matter of fact, it was a bill that I was an original co-sponsor of that we attached to the budget bill. But the explicit removal of this is almost like saying to the president, well, you know, we really don't care. We're not going to tell you that you're not allowed. And to me, that looks so bad, and it's something that indicates that the president probably is going to have a free ride if the excuse is there. I'm afraid the bombing and the attack on Iran will happen, and unfortunately, if the incident that precipitates our bombing is strong enough, the American people, unfortunately, will probably go along with it.
And what do you think the likely consequences of an American war against Iran might be? We talked about their ability to get at our guys in Iraq. What else do you foresee as likely consequences if we do start another war?
Probably $200 per barrel for oil and $4 or $5 of gasoline. So that's one economic consequence. But I think it will mean that a lot more of our men are going to be killed in Iraq, and there'll be a call for doubling the number of troops over there. And before you know it, although there's no plans right now for us to invade Iran, somebody will say, well, let's not be hamstrung. We can't let them hit us and run back over into Iran. They'll have to send a lot more troops over. So, and that's going to, who knows what it'll do after that. I mean, how this war might spread. But right now, we have ups and downs. Today happens to be a down day. That is that there's probably not as much friction right there now in hopes that the British and the Iranians will work something out. But that could change within hours.
And, of course, bombing Iran and perhaps even changing the regime there is exactly what Osama bin Laden would want us to do, isn't it?
Boy, that's for sure. We tend to want to get rid of their enemies. I mean, we've fallen in the trap of supporting Iran. We got rid of the Taliban, and so we've helped the Iranians, and Osama bin Laden has been helped in his recruiting. So the Al-Qaeda was pretty weak, 6 months, a year after 9/11, but it looks like they're getting all their strengths back, and the motivation is our troops in the various countries over there. So far it looks like we're in for a long fight. I'm not so sure that we're all of a sudden going to have a change in policy, but I do think there's a chance that this country will become so poor with a dollar crisis that we won't be able to afford this empire anyway.
Now, Dr. Paul, there's a story that has been very little covered, and it's something I was hoping you could help explain. The John Warner Defense Appropriations Act that was passed last fall, the same day, I believe, as the Military Commissions Act, apparently changed the authority over the state National Guard units and gives the president the power to nationalize them without seeking the permission of the governors. And the State Governors Association sent a unanimous letter signed by all 50 governors protesting this, and yet apparently they've lost the fight. So I wonder if you can tell me if I've characterized that accurately and what that might portend for our federal system.
Well, I'm not sure, but that may be related, to the changes that occurred in the modifications in the Insurrection Act, which means that the president can call up all these troops at will. It doesn't even have to be a military confrontation or a real insurrection. It could be a big flood someplace. The president can do this. It does. I believe it's also related to the modification in the Posse Comitatus Act, which means the president has a lot more authority to declare a national emergency and actually impose martial law. It has gone through, and those changes have gone through subtly and quietly, but long term, this is not very good for us as citizens, not very good for the principles of the Republic.
And it does reveal, doesn't it, that principle that war is the health of the state, that while we have an overseas empire, our domestic government grows bigger and bigger as well.
Yeah, that's probably the most dangerous part of it when you look at all the laws that have been passed domestically, everything from the Patriot Act to the Military Commissions Act, and the whole works. The idea that we can be monitored in everything that we do, warrantless searches, and another very, very serious change is this attitude about habeas corpus, the fact that we can be held as an American citizen without getting into court as a suspected terrorist. As long as we're a suspected terrorist, we don't have any rights left. Although that has been not used so much with American citizens since as of yet, although to a slight degree, once that principle is established, it's very hard to reverse. It's very dangerous.
And we've seen kind of the farcical nature of the Guantanamo Bay tribunals when this man, David Hicks, who's been in the news for years and years because he's an Australian citizen, a state that is closely allied to us, and they made a plea bargain and gave him 9 months. So how dangerous could this terrorist have been all this time?
Well, our courts are politicized. The sooner we close down Guantanamo, though, the better. So I don't know how you can solve that mess down there. That is just so un-American.
Do we give these men trials in American federal courts, Dr. Paul?
I don't know the full details of every single person they ever captured, but they has to be some type of a court, whether it's a military court or a court here. I guess a crime committed in another country. I don't know whether that means that you can bring them here and justify it. But there has to be something better than secret courts and secret holdings and extraordinary renditions and having prisons all around the world. That process has to end.
Dr. Ron Paul, he represents District 14 in South Texas, a Libertarian Republican congressman. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Paul.
Thank you, Scott. Good to be with you.